Well, Europe is synonymous with rail travel, but it's often a bumpy ride for passengers traveling between the rail networks of bordering countries.
We're entering a contentious discussion today about the true worth of transatlantic rail travel in Europe. Numerous stories have extolled it, but is it really as magnificent as it's described? Are you prepared for this trip? Now, let's get things moving. Europe has long been associated with trains, which are the foundation of the continent's transportation system. They have developed into a well-liked form of transportation for both residents and visitors because of their extensive networks that connect towns and traverse whole nations. Single-journey tickets, round-trip tickets, and rail passes are just a few of the several types and cost options for these train journeys tickets. For instance, the well-liked Eurail Pass is advertised as a single ticket for travel throughout several nations. Sounds like a fantastic bargain, no? But look more closely. Although Eurail cards offer flexibility and unlimited travel on some routes, they aren't always the cheapest option, especially for shorter trips or when making a reservation well in advance. Also, keep in mind that costs might differ significantly based on the time of year, the route, and how far in advance you book. Similar to the continent itself, European trains are diverse. They accommodate a broad range of budgets and interests, offering anything from opulent first-class lodging to basic, less expensive choices. The opulent trains are at one extreme of the scale. Consider the Orient Express, which offers a luxurious journey with opulent dining carriages, personal steward service, and luxurious accommodations. But keep in mind that these are expensive. Then there are the first-class sections of standard high-speed trains like the TGV and Eurostar. These provide roomier, more comfortable seats, extra legroom, and occasionally free meals and beverages. Some even come with extras like free Wi-Fi, in-seat power outlets, and access to lounges at busy railway stations. We next go down to second-class carriages, which are less comfortable. On the majority of trains in Europe, they are the norm. Although the seats are quite comfortable, first class offers more amenities and more space. Therefore, there is a wide range of comfort aboard European trains. Your experience might range from a first-class opulent trip to a more straightforward utilitarian ride. It all depends on how much you're prepared to spend and what you value most on a trip. The extensive train network is being used by everyone, including residents and visitors. Seats are few, trains are crowded, and station lines may be scary. The issue doesn't necessarily get better after you get on the train. During rush hours, it may become so congested that some passengers must stand for a sizable portion of their trip. In corridor trains, it's possible to observe passengers sitting in the aisles on their bags. More luggage means carrying around and onto the train more weight. People, there are no porters or baggage carts here. Additionally, it might be difficult to find room for your baggage on a busy train. The image of a comfortable, roomy trip with lots of facilities is so enticing, but it's not realistic. But let's step back and think about the reality of the majority of transatlantic rail trips in Europe. The view from your train window is frequently less attractive than the delightful tale of expansive vistas. Numerous roads pass through huge industrial zones and unremarkable suburbia. There may be a few views of picturesque countrysides or charming cities, but they are unusual and usually ephemeral. Even well-traveled lines such as the Paris to Milan train spend a sizable chunk of the trip in tunnels, which severely limits your ability to take in the scenery. In addition, timing and season have a significant effect on how much you get to appreciate the view. Wintertime travel can be challenging because of the shorter days and potential for long stretches of darkness. Due to the lengthier duration of rail trips compared to aircraft, you're more likely to go in the early morning or late evening, possibly losing out on the landscape. This is true even during other seasons. Finally, while it all may seem romantic to watch the world pass by from a train window, it may not be as comfy as you think. Train seats aren't always built with the view in mind, whether you're traveling in first class or on a luxurious tourist route. You could be looking away from the window, or other people, their baggage, or even the train car's architecture can be blocking your view. It's crucial to keep in mind that while discussing how to use the European train system, we're dealing with a very large network that spans several nations, each of which has its own operational guidelines and terminology. This might make organizing and taking your trip more difficult. Take railway schedules, for instance. Train timetables are frequently more complicated than airline schedules throughout Europe. Whereas a direct flight from point A to point B only requires one connection, a rail trip may take several. It's not always simple to understand these schedules, especially if you have to cope with language difficulties or strange forms. Furthermore, many international lines only run sporadically throughout the day or possibly once a week, which may interfere with the times you want to go. For those who are unfamiliar with the system, determining the fastest or most effective path can be challenging, and there is always a danger that cancellations or delays will cause you to miss a connection. The navigation of the stations themselves is further consideration. Train stations can differ greatly in their appearance and amenities in contrast to airports, which are frequently built with international travelers in mind. There is a chance that signage will be in the regional tongue, and assistance or information desks might not always be open. In smaller or remote stations, there may be basic amenities. The element of reserving and purchasing tickets comes last. The ticketing processes for each nation's train system are unique. While many have switched to electronic ticketing, some still use paper tickets. The policies governing bookings, seat assignments, and ticket modifications can also change. It can be challenging navigating these dissimilar systems, especially for visitors or infrequent rail users. All of these elements raise the degree of difficulty, which may transform an apparently simple rail excursion into a difficult puzzle. While seasoned visitors or locals might have little trouble using these systems, those unfamiliar with European rail may find it to be a challenging task. These are essential considerations when weighing the benefits and drawbacks of international rail travel in Europe. Western European trains, such as those in Switzerland, Germany, or France, are often modern, immaculate, and comfortable with large seats. In addition, they usually provide food and offer Wi-Fi, power outlets, and other supplementary services. However, it's possible that trains in Eastern Europe are more old, less opulent, and have fewer amenities. There are major exceptions though, and countries like Poland and Hungary have lately made significant improvements to their rail infrastructure. Punctuality is another significant characteristic. Germany and Switzerland are known for being punctual, while other countries could be less reliable. Italy and Spain are two countries where train delays are frequent. Your holiday plans may get interrupted as a result of this uncertainty. Popular routes with frequent services throughout the day include Paris to Brussels and Vienna to Budapest. However, less traveled or rural routes may provide fewer services, so you may need to carefully plan your itinerary to avoid missing your train. Let's finally discuss extra services. Some high-speed trains, such as the Eurostar and TGV, include first-class accommodations, food, and even business facilities as part of their premium services. These services can improve your trip's enjoyment, but they are more expensive. You might have to pay for basic services like food or Wi-Fi on other trains. When using the train, the level of comfort and service might vary. European trains can be opulent with roomy sitting and dining carriages, or a little packed and uncomfortably small. Passengers may not be happy with this encounter since it is uneven, especially if their expectations are high. Finally, it might be challenging to understand European railway timetables, especially for first-time travelers or those who don't speak the language. Multiple transfers on some routes can be confusing and frustrating, and they reduce the overall travel experience. Here is our video, friends. Thank you for joining me as I explore traveling around Europe. We will likely provide you with a lot more experiences. Watch our channel for further tips, tricks, and debunkings of travel misconceptions. Don't forget to show us some love by sharing, and commenting on our content. Up until the next time, never stop exploring, being curious, or going on adventures.